Your number one independent radio, Raypower 100.5 FM Abuja. Hello and welcome to the news desk. I am Chukwuyenum Onka. First, the headlines. Court of Appeal dismisses Turaki-led PDP's appeal. Fire engulfs part of head of service building. Guinea dissolves 40 political parties as opposition leader cries foul. Alleged Bondi gunman seeks order to suppress family's identity. Details shortly. And now the news in detail. The Court of Appeal has dismissed one of the appeal filed by the Turaki-led PDP, challenging the jurisdiction of the courts to hear the suit against the November 15, 2026 Ibadan Convention. The court, while affirming the judgment that barred INEC from validating the convention, held that the lower court had the jurisdiction to hear the suit. In dismissing the appeal, the three-man panel, in a unanimous decision, held that the Turaki faction cannot repackage a clear violation of the party's constitution and that of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as an internal party affair. The appellate court, however, awarded 2 million naira against the appellant. More details later. There was panic at the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja this morning after a section of the Federal Head of Service building caught fire. Eyewitnesses say flames were first noticed in one part of the structure at about 8:20 a.m., with smoke billowing from the affected area. The incident is reported to have occurred at Section C of the Head of Service building within the FCT Secretariat complex. Staff in the building were seen moving away from the affected area, while emergency responders were alerted to contain the situation. When contacted, the press department of the Office of the Head of Service confirmed the incident, stating that the fire outbreak is limited to Section C of the building and is currently being attended to by emergency officials. The exact cause of the fire is yet to be determined, as investigations are expected to commence after the situation is fully brought under control. Authorities say further details will be provided as more information becomes available. A court in the United Kingdom has ordered the seizure of a property linked to the family of a Nigerian senator. Abigail Marshall Katung, who previously served as Lord Mayor of Leeds in the UK, lost a bid to stop authorities from taking over the house following a ruling by the High Court. She is married to the senator representing Kaduna South Senatorial District, Senator Sunday Marshall Katung. The report.
The property located in Alwoodley in Leeds in the UK has been seized by the National Crime Agency or NCA, the UK's agency responsible for fighting organized crime, including drug trafficking and money laundering. According to court records, the house originally belonged to a businessman who later became a suspect in a money laundering investigation. In 2020, the businessman surrendered the property to the NCA as part of an agreement with investigators. However, the court heard that Abigail Katang had earlier entered into an arrangement in 2015 to purchase the property for about £1 million, about 1.85 billion naira. She reportedly paid about £400,000 or about 740 million naira of the amount, but never completed the balance of the payment. During the proceedings, the court was told that most of the funds used for the deposit were transferred from Nigeria to the United Kingdom through an informal money transfer network, sometimes referred to as a parallel or black market system. Her husband, Senator Sunday Marshall Katang, who was said to have been the source of the funds used for the payment, did not submit a witness statement during the trial. Importantly, the court stated there was no evidence that Abigail Katang knew about the alleged criminal activities linked to the property's previous owner. In June 2025, the High Court ruled that she had no legal ownership rights to the property. Her attempt to challenge that decision was later rejected by another judge, who said the appeal had no real prospects of success. Following the decision, The National Crime Agency obtained a legal order to take possession of the house. Officials confirmed that officers have since entered the property and changed the locks. Authorities say the property will now be sold and the money from the sale will be returned to the UK government. The NCA says the case took several years to conclude and involved significant legal costs funded by British taxpayers.
With the current state of the nation bedeviled by insecurity and economic hardship, the resident pastor of the House on the Rock Church in Minna, the Niger State capital, Patriarch Sadiq, has emphasized the need for political leaders to see themselves as true servant leaders who help to pull people out of poverty. According to the clergyman, upholding the true principles of empathy, vision, righteousness, discipline, strong institutions, and productivity, among others, will help them succeed. Ray Power's Zachary Omale completes the story.
There was a special Thanksgiving service put together by 7 former recent public office holders under the current administration in the state for God's blessings upon the governor and other leaders held at the House on the Rock Church, Mina, led by the Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Afiniki Dauda. However, the resident pastor, Peter Rock Sadiq, used the medium to speak to power about the need for them to have empathy for the people and make life more meaningful.
Many leaders spend their time in position of influence, acquiring wealth, acquiring status, acquiring power and influence, so that they'll be able to make a command. But the Bible warns us that life is not defined by what we accumulate.
For leaders at all levels to succeed, the clergyman urged them to uphold sincere principles of vision, righteousness, discipline, strong institutions, productivity, among others.
History shows that many people held powerful positions, but their leadership produced little transformation. Very little transformation. The question God asks leaders is not what did you gather, is who did you help?
Both the Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Afiniki Dauda, and the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Obed Nana, acknowledge the challenges confronting the people in the state, but are sure they are surmountable.
Of us constantly complaining. Let us thank God for those little things we even forgot to mention. From there, we will see when we start counting our blessings and naming them one by one, then it will surprise us what the Lord has done.
There are challenges of water and all that, but I can assure you some of these challenges are already being taken care of. And I want to also assure you that as Commissioner for Information Orientation, we will continue to inform the public of what is on the ground, of what the government is doing to improve the lives of Nigerians.
Prayers were offered for the peace, stability, growth, and development of Nigeria, Niger State, as well as the military, for them to keep protecting the territorial integrity of the nation. Zachary Omale reporting for Repa News, Mina.
You are listening to the news desk on Ray Power 100.5 FM. In the news, Court of Appeal dismisses Turaki-led PDP's appeal. Fire engulfs part of head of civil service building. And still to come, Guinea dissolves 40 political parties as opposition leader cries foul. Alleged Bondi gunman seeks order to suppress family's identity. Plus business, entertainment, sports, and weather. Do stay with us.
As the news drops, it breaks with us. Join us for news on the hour every hour. News desk at 12 noon, Metro News at 4 p.m. Enjoy infotainment, breaking and sports news at their best 24/7.
This is Ray Power FM News.
And now the rest of the news. Guinea's main opposition leader said direct resistance to the country's coup leader turned president was now the only way to bring about change after the government consolidated its position by dissolving 40 political parties. President Mamadi Doumbouya, a former Special Forces commander, seized power in 2021 and won a 7-year term as president in December in a result contested by his opponent. Legislative elections are expected in May in the West African nation, which is rich in bauxite and iron ore. Guinea's Ministry of Territorial Administration and Decentralization said in a decree late on Friday that 40 parties, headquarters, and local offices would be closed and the use of their logos, acronyms, and other distinctive signs would be prohibited. The decree said the parties had failed to meet legal obligations such as filing financial statements. Several of the dissolved political parties have protested, maintaining they had fulfilled all legal requirements. Alleged Bondi Beach gunman Navid Akram has sought a court order to prevent media from publishing details of his immediate family over concerns about their safety. The 24-year-old, who faces 59 charges, including 15 counts of murder over the 14 December attack on a Jewish festival, did not appear in person at Monday's hearing. His lawyer applied to the courts in Sydney on his behalf for a non-publication order on the names, addresses, and places of work and school for his mother, brother, and sister. Magistrate Greg Grogan granted a temporary order, citing global interest in the case, but noted that the name of Akram's mother had already been widely published.
And now a business update from Ray Power 100 FM.
G7 nations will hold an emergency meeting today to discuss surging oil prices as crude jumped above $100 a barrel and stock markets slumped over the escalating US-Israel war with Iran. Finance ministers from leading industrialized countries, including UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves, will gather to discuss the economic impact of the conflict. Global oil prices reached nearly $120 today over fears of a prolonged disruption to energy supplies through the key Strait of Hormuz shipping routes, and the UK's FTSE 100 share index fell 1.5%. The G7 meeting will discuss a joint release of petroleum farm resources coordinated by the International Energy Agency, IEA.
This is entertainment news on Ray Power 100.5 FM.
Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, has warned actress Sarah Martins against cooking and distributing food on Lagos streets, citing environmental and public order regulations. In a statement on X, Wahab acknowledged Martins' charitable intentions, but emphasized that such activities pose safety, sanitation, and traffic concerns. Wahab referenced a previous warning given to Martins last year, advising her to desist from street cooking and instead use approved channels and locations for her philanthropy.
Ray Power Sport.
Red cards were issued to 23 players after a mass brawl broke out between Brazilian clubs Cruzeiro and Atlético Mineiro in the Campeonato Mineiro final. Caio Jorge scored the winner in Belo Horizonte as Cruzeiro, managed by former Brazil boss Tite, edged rivals Atlético 1-0 to become the champions of the state of Minas Gerais for the first time since 2019. But the match was marred by a violent melee in the dying seconds, which forced security staff and military police to intervene and resulted in 23 players, including Atletico's former Brazil forward, Hulk, being sent off.
Ray Power weather.
The northern region will be predominantly sunny today, whilst sunny skies with patches of cloud will dominate the weather over parts of Benue, Kogi, and Kwara states. The rest of the central region should experience sunny skies with hazy atmosphere. Cloudy atmosphere with intervals of sunshine will be experienced in the southern region, with chances of isolated thunderstorms accompanied by light rains expected over parts of Akwa Ibom and Cross River states. And now the last line. According to Maya Angelou, American memoirist and essayist, do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, you do better. And that's it for the news desk as produced by Ehi Ankeli Ocheme. I am Chukuyenum Onka. You can listen to us online on Radio Garden, Online Radio Box, and tuning.com at Raypower 100.5 FM Abuja, or watch us on YouTube at Raypower Abuja. News on Hour comes up at 1 p.m. Good afternoon.
Providing 300.